guys, welcome back to a special edition, nighttime edition of Chats from the Blog Cabin. I would do anything to have Hannah on. I would even do a special nighttime edition just to have her on because Hannah is so amazing. She's one of these people that just encourages and inspires me daily. And because we started doing Proverbs 31 Ministries online Bible studies together and meeting and having coffee and conversations and just everything. So Hannah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as Melissa said, my name is Hannah, and I have a blog called The Hannah Hardy, which is my first and middle name. I talk about all things makeup, mainly reviews, product recommendations, favorites, things like that. I work in agricultural lending during the day, and then I do the blogging on the side just for fun. I have a dog named Windsor, who's the cutest thing you'll ever see in your whole life. And then he's a little dog. Then I have two big dogs, Jack and Jake, that are my whole world. As Melissa said, we met doing a Bible study. She reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm doing this Bible study. You want to meet? And I was like, sure. And friendship grew from there. And we've done several studies together since then, and we still meet up. And a great friendship has come from that, as well as building my faith and confidence in myself. We've helped each other in that area. Not too long ago, you wouldn't catch either one of us doing this. So,
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, for sure. And I will have to say that maybe I would kind of sort of agree with about Windsor being the cutest because Allie, has my heart. So Windsor is pretty cute.
Windsor's the cutest white dog. Windsor's the cutest white dog. Well,
okay.
Allie's the cutest black and white dog.
There we go. We'll go with that. So Hannah, the reason why I wanted you on is because your story is so powerful. You actually wrote a blog post for me, 2 years ago when I was doing a story about positive images, and because women are so inundated with all these negative images on social media and everything, is you're supposed to look this way, you're supposed to be this way. And you wrote a really compelling and tear-jerking post about how you saw yourself and what saved you. So you want to tell us a little bit about your story as much as you're comfortable with telling?
Sure. You're probably have to tell me to shut up at some point, but so I've always been the girl with a plan. When we were in high school and none of my friends knew what they wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go to college, and I had my whole plan mapped out for me. Well, there's that old adage, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. I'm the reason he LOLs on the regular. But so I got part of that. I did go to the college I wanted to, which is Meredith College. I did major in what I set out and intended to major in, which was fashion merchandising, and I minored in business administration and marketing. And I was, setting sail for New York or a big city to work in the fashion industry. I applied for jobs all over the United States, Dallas, Seattle, Atlanta, Charlotte, you name it. The road was open for me. And after lots and lots and lots of no's, I had to regroup because that wasn't in my plan. And I ended up finding a job in Raleigh, and I started working part-time, which turned into full-time. The pay was very minimal, but it was a job. It was better than no pay. And my whole goal was to graduate, get out on my own, get off my parents' payroll, do my own thing, be an adult with whatever that entails. And it just didn't really happen that way. I was working at a cosmetics store, and we did not have a lot of foot traffic or a lot of people in and out. So I got left to my own vices for lots of hours during the day, which led to getting in my own head and thinking about how, this isn't where I was going to be. I tried so hard. I tried to get good grades. I tried to make connections. I did all the things I thought I should do, and the end result was still a no. And of course, I see my friends on social media buying houses and cars and this, that, and the other. And I'm just trying to pay my rent, not have to ask my mom for $20 at the end of the week. And I thought it was something that I did wrong. Where did I derail? And I guess I should back up a little bit. I had been on anxiety medicine at this point for a little while because it just came to a head, and I knew I had to do something because what I was doing, which was nothing, was not working anymore. So after I was at this job after I graduated, and I thought, my life is good. I've got a job. I got an apartment. I don't need that medicine anymore. Not a doctor, but I'm here to tell you, don't ever just stop taking anxiety medicine. it's not a good idea. And that, coupled with the lots of times I think about all my missteps, so to speak, it just put me in a really bad headspace mentally. And I had just a really bad day at work, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm a failure. I don't have, I'm not where I was supposed to be. And so I came really close to making a really, really bad, life-altering, life-ending decision. And I decided that's not what I needed to do. But I knew I needed to get out of my apartment for the night. So I grabbed my dog, and I came home, and I pulled up in the carport. My parents were like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I just need to come home. I said, if I stayed in Raleigh by myself, I was going to make a decision that I really don't want to do or should do. And so I hadn't told anybody about this. I keep everything in. I don't want to ever burden anybody with my problems. We all got problems. Mm-hmm. And I started talking to my parents, and my dad was like, just quit. And I was like, I can't quit. First of all, I'm barely making any money right now. And if I quit, that means no money. And I'm going to rely on y'all for every dime, just like I have my whole life. And I'm not supposed to do that anymore. And he was like, well, you can't live like you're living now. Just quit. We'll figure it out. So the next day I did just that. I quit. And then I didn't have a job for 3 months, which led to further depression because, again, it was no after no after no after no. And then I got a really good job at a company that's been voted one of the best places to work in America several times. So things were looking up. But even still, it's just part-time work, and I was still having to rely on my parents for money and things that I didn't want to have to do. But that, right before I quit, that was rock bottom for me, obviously. I got back on my anxiety medicine, and I opened up the Bible that I had received for graduation from my church. It had been tucked away in a drawer, and I started my journey with faith. I grew up in church. I lived next door to my church, so I've no excuse not to go. It's right there. But I went to Sunday school. I went to church, Bible school, Bible study. I did confirmation classes. I did the whole thing. Had been saved. I had a relationship with the Lord. I prayed every night. And I just felt so broken, and I didn't know where else. I had too much pride to go to therapy or see a counselor, which I shouldn't have. Always do that. But I picked up my Bible because I thought, my whole life I'm told this book has all the answers to any problem you could ever have. So I just picked it up, and this particular Bible had a devotion series at the front of it. So I started on week 1, day 1, and worked my way through. And from that, I started, after I finished that up, I just Googled devotions and came across some really good books. And that just led to doing Proverbs 31 and our friendship. But one of the first books that I read is called A Confident Heart by Renee Swope. And I opened the first pages, and there's been a couple of times where I've really felt God speak to me. Growing up, I always hear, well, God told me this, and I prayed, and he told me this. And I was like, well, did I do it wrong? Because I've never heard him talk to me like that. He's never been like, Hannah, you need to do this. And so, but in my apartment in Greenville, at this point I'd moved again, I opened that book, and she talks about, she went to Meredith College, which is where I went, walking around campus her senior year, just feeling kind of lost. I mean, I started preschool at 3 and graduated college at 22. I'd done nothing but go to school. So then it was like, you graduate, and now what? But through all that, it worked out good. He saved me, obviously, but I saved myself too, because I knew where to turn, and that book does have all the answers thousands of years later.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Windsor, how Windsor saved you, because Windsor was a big, big, big decision making for you for not to end it all.
He was. So my dog is my child. He is my whole world, my whole heart. And that day that I came home to pick him up before I drove home for the night, he was obviously so excited to see me. He'd missed me all day. And I looked at him and I thought, if I'm not here anymore, somebody will care for him. Somebody will care for him. That's not an issue, but it relies on me.
Now, Hannah did tell us right before she got on that she lives out in the sticks, so she might have problems with her internet, and I think right now she is having problems. So, for those that are just tuning in, Hannah is telling her story about how she was able to overcome kind of like anxiety and depression and basically save yourself, right? Because you actually kind of cut out there. So your your internet was messed up, like you said. So let's talk again about Windsor and how he saved you.
Anyway, his face is what saved me because I knew he needed me. And that was enough for me to make a decision to keep on, to try harder, to figure it out.